I know it's been a minute since we've had the time to do one of these, but with the reveals of the latest Fan First Friday, I couldn't help myself. That, and I've got a little bit of spare time because I'm puppy sitting. Woof, woof. It's kind of cool. It makes me feel a little bit like I'm a mad scientist, you know what I mean? Yes, Nico. Yes. Animal exploitation. But she's tiny, so I'm hoping she's just gonna go to sleep in my arms. And then we can talk robots. So firstly, a little bit of a shame that, like, lately none of the reveals have been able to get the, like, a par of, like, Hasbro getting to do it. But there is something cool about the insider peaks as well. I don't know. I know lately a lot of people have been getting up in arms about people getting stolen factory samples and things. I don't know. I try not to judge. Some people just do what they got to do to get by. I don't know. It's not my place. It is my place, however, to dig deep and have a look through at what we got from Friday's offerings. Firstly, like, yeah, as I was saying, the Studio Series 86 stuff we had largely seen. It was interesting that during the actual event, there wasn't a production sample of Grimlock because they was getting deco tweaks or whatever, but then we'd already seen that kind of like hazy is Bigfoot real photo of that first wave. I hope it does well enough that there's a second wave, if we don't already know about the existence of a second wave. It does also seem a little bit to me like we are pretty sure we're getting Galvatron. We know we're getting Cyclonus with Kingdom. We know, well, we don't know, but it's heavily suspected that we're getting Rodimus Prime with Kingdom. It just seems weird that you'd split that 86 cast so much when it kind of seemed a little bit like with Earthrise, they were getting those first release guys out. So why would you not just go hard 86? Ooh, leader class like Earth Mode Ultra Magnus. That's the other one. It just seems like they decided to split that in two to support two lines rather than just having it be a purpose part of, like, you know, Earthrise or Earthfall or whatever the hell they wanted to call it. Cybertron Reborn. I don't know. And then I would have preferred if Kingdom was just its own thing. Part of me thinks that maybe they had bigger Beast Wars plans and were like, maybe with Studio Series having run its course, we've got our Generations like main G1 line. Maybe we replace Studio Series with Beast Wars, and then they kind of cooled on that, and so we've kind of got Kingdom, which is like, we use the last of that, we use these molds that we weren't quite sure we could get away with doing a full pimped out Beast Wars in there, and then anyone that's overtly from that 86 movie will just shuffle them over, because also Jazz to me seems really, really like he should have been part of Earthrise, seeing as he's one of the first Autobots that gets to roll out on that mission to, I don't know, whatever they do, I can't remember. Something to do with the Decepticons, right? That's what I imagine. It was the first time getting to see Jazz, which was pretty dope. The images I don't feel quite do him justice. When that bro was fooling around with him on screen, I thought he looked actually quite cool in hand like that. I assume it's only a matter of, I don't know, minutes before we get a Prime versus Prime or a Tauntaun review. I'll watch it, right? Don't we all watch it? Isn't that how them numbers be stacked so high? You just need to know. It's like it's hard to resist any kind of spoiler if you're a nerd because you just crave that content. So on that point, like we got to see Cup and Hot Rod, which we've already seen fairly comprehensive views on them, and I had been looking forward to them. I do think that Cup looks a little gaunt, a little horse-faced. Just tighten that back up, because he's got quite a blocky head. I don't know, he looks a little less Eastwoody to me now. I think one of the dark horses of this whole first wave is actually the Blur. He looks exceptionally tight. I'll throw it up. I did some Blur art when I was trying to bend my art style to work for Transformers in a way that I thought might be a thing. So yeah, this is the Blur I did. And it's, you know, I've seen some people saying they don't like how big the underside of his arms are, but it doesn't really worry me. I feel like that's part of his actual on-screen design, so I can live with that. totally. What do we got next? Hot Rod. Hot Rod's just dope, right? Like, it's a bit cheeky pushing him out at a Voyager, but like that dude said, we are getting a whole bunch of extra accessories, special features, so you can recreate a whole bunch of stuff from the movie. So I'm wholeheartedly on board with that. Scourge seems awesome. Did anyone else notice when the guy was talking about the Studio Series like 86 background paneling diorama art, which with regular Studio Series I couldn't give a hoot about, but just seeing those like 86 styled like sci-fi renders, it was just, I'm probably gonna have to display those guys with those backgrounds so it's kind of like a highlights reel of that film. Seeing some of these 86 cast, it makes me think that the Galvatron figure that we're hopefully gonna get with Kingdom might actually be dope, which would be great, because the Titans Return one just didn't quite hit it. There was a lot to love about it, but it didn't feel like the Galvatron. Grimlock to me is a little bit interesting. I'm a massive Grimlock fan, like one of the biggest. I think I have almost every Grimlock figure that's come out. There's just something about the yellow and the gray like that. Like, I get they're going super Sunbow, G1 color schemey, but it feels more heavy-handed on Grimlock than it does on like Blur or Hot Rod. I guess because of their color schemes, naturally they're painted up like that. I would have really liked a slight metallic fleck through the paint, or even like, definitely not gold plastic, I'm not insane. But if that Grimlock could have had just, I don't know, a bit of a metallic sheen to his paint apps. The wheelie's pretty dope, it doesn't transform, but like, who's posing it out in the little wheelie car, right? You're obviously having him riding on Grimlock's back, sitting on his shoulder, getting his cheek on. He's an instigator, he's a troublemaker. I think I've already used that clip, but I'm gonna do it again.
Yeah, what is he, some sort of an instigator? That's right, he's a troublemaker.
No regrets. It's interesting that in the renders, he's got just painted yellow neck, like to be super hardcore Sunbow. But now that some of the packaging art has come out, and like the in-package images, and there are some physical sample pictures of Grimlock, we can see he's got the see-through robo neck bits, which I think I like, but then it also makes that yellow kind of sit even harsher, honestly, and it might need to be a bit goldy. The other kind of swordless elephant in the room is the fact that there's no Energon sword with that Grimlock. It's not the end of the world, and it's not a deal breaker, but how could they not have known that that's something that we'd want? Like, obviously they know with a Grimlock of that scale, you're gonna want his sword. And my axe. Oh, actually, just one more note accessory-wise. And now, again, not a big deal, but if you're gonna do it, you just want them to do it all the way. And that's Cup's Energon goodies. Just if it was pink, right? Just even if it was a fluorescent paint app, I'd rather it was a paint app pink than translucent, like clear plastic, because that's not the color of Energon. We know it's not. They know it's not. Who are they fooling? If there's someone who buys that toy that doesn't know that an Energon goodie and Energon in general should be fluorescent, fantastic 80s, 90s pink, then they're probably not going to understand what it is that he's even packaged with. And it's gonna, you know what I mean? The audience that gimmick and that accessory is for, you haven't wholeheartedly won them over by half-assing it. So they get it. Gimmick-wise, but arms and legs coming off, that's pretty good, right? That's pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty good. The other thing that I thought was really cool out of the whole thing was getting to see, some footage and talk to a little bit, you know what I mean, like passively be spoken to, be addressed by the brand writer for the whole dealio. That's pretty awesome. That would be just, God, what a gig. Like, how much fun would you have spinning out what toys and storyline and stuff goes with those random encounter packs, like that Micron one to finish out some of your Micro Masters. I'm assuming that, like so much of this stuff, being here in Australia, I'm not going to be able to get me mitts on it. Actually, that said, I did go through a site and get the Pit of Judgment, because whilst I couldn't justify on the Conehead spending that third-party price to get it, that Judgment pack has enough different, enough extra that I could justify it, and in fact I did, and it's on the way. So, you know, subscribe if you want to watch that and know when it's coming. I don't even remember what my initial point was now. Yeah, Brand Rider, those extra packs, that's really cool. Those 5 encounters, dope. Not going to be able to get them, just like the Coneheads, which brings us to Thrust. Target exclusive. That means, like, as a collector in Australia, in like what you'd think is one of the primary, you know, it'd have to be up in the top 10. I don't know. All I know is there's a pretty active Transformers fan base and community in Australia, and no one in Australia has had the opportunity to buy any of the Coneheads through first-hand, like, retail means. Like, none in store, none online, no online exclusives. The only way you've been able to do it is through third-party sites with the massive markup, and then from what I've been hearing, a lot of them aren't even getting filled because they stopped pushing them out. I think I'm only going to end up being able to get that G2 Desert Weirdo because that came up for pre-order on something and I got it. But that was the only one I had the opportunity to get. It's not the end of the world, especially in the scale of what's going on in the world. But I think this was a great set of official reveals. I really wish, what's his name, is it Mark? The mustachioed stoner bro? He was hilarious. I honestly think they should push him to the front much more often. Unless I guess all that feedback was bad for Mark. If his name is in fact Mark. Hashtag bring back Mark. But in lieu of that, I'm fine for these Friday events. They're fun. I find myself looking forward to them. If you enjoyed watching this and you too look forward to such events and like to break it down and think about all the possibilities afterwards, please like and subscribe. I want to grow. Make my monster grow just like Rita Repulsa, and I'll have more time to push out more content. If that is a daunting prospect, please don't unsubscribe either. Just don't watch.
Please like and subscribe. Your subscriptions keep me in fresh dog bones.